Hi everyone, welcome to your chat today with Wellness Curated. Today we have Monisha Mahtani. She is a nutritional therapist specializing in digestive wellness, immunity, weight loss, anti-aging, and skin nutrition. She helps clients in today's busy world to find a balance between minimum effort and maximum results. And that's the sort of person I like. She has an international clientele for personalized nutrition and workplace wellness. Monisha is based in London and she's a member of the Naturopathic Nutrition Association. She's registered with the General Naturopathic Council and Complementary and Natural Healthcare Council. She's also the founder of a skincare brand, and that's what I thought was so interesting, a nutritionist who specializes in skincare. Welcome, Monisha.
Hi, Anshu. Lovely to be here with you.
Lovely to have you here. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
So, Monisha, tell me, what is wellness to you?
So I think wellness to me is having that balance between sort of physical health, mental health, emotional health, building on sort of healthy habits consistently and adapting to our environment. So, we have to constantly adapt to our environment and, whatever we're facing in life, whether it's emotional, mental, physical, and I think that's what real wellness is, having that ability to adapt to those different changes.
That's
And having
absolutely
the balance, between everything. So it's not just about being physically well, just about sort of, it's all in balance, really.
Yeah. Yes, and you're so right about balance because, some of us put so much effort into one thing and then the other side drops off. We put so much effort into maybe our physical appearance, our spiritual side suffers, our emotional side suffers. So you're right, life is all about balance.
Yes, especially at the moment, I think, we've all had so many changes in the last sort of few years. So I think wellness is really about having that mental health sort of well-being as well, and really taking that into consideration.
Yes. So coming to skin, Monisha, tell me, is skin mainly genetic? So can we change the structure of the skin that we're born with?
So this is a really interesting question because, genetics, it's a very sort of, it's a very new topic, and the process, and, we get our sort of inherited DNA from our mothers actually. And then, we have about 60 to 85% of genetics that plays an important role in skin health. So, yes, there is a genetic element to it, but that doesn't mean that you overlook the environmental side of it. So, as you age, the genetics actually decrease it. That sort of aspect of genetics and influence decreases as well. So, it's quite sort of strong when you're younger, and then, as you get older, that effect is reduced, so to speak. There are lots of tests right now out in the market that can actually test for risk variants of certain skin health conditions. So for example, there's a risk variant to test for maybe pigmentation, which is a sign of aging, wrinkles, which is a sign of aging, how well you're absorbing nutrients as well. So, there are tests. So yes, genetics does play a huge factor, but that doesn't mean that we can't do anything about it.
Okay.
So we're living in a day and age really where we have so many solutions to, problems that we didn't really have before in terms of skin. So there's lots of advancements made in skincare.
That's wonderful. And we will talk a bit about the tests later that you're suggesting. But in the meanwhile, now you're a nutritionist by training, right? And what I see is a lot of people use a very external approach to skincare. So they feel if we use these certain creams, it's going to sort out our skin completely. So tell me, how would you say that nutrition plays an important role with skincare, one? And secondly, how does it play an important role?
So, the reason why perhaps your skin is not, performing to its maximum, or perhaps it's not looking as great as it should, or it's not feeling as good. There's lots of reasons behind that. So when you have lots of reasons, you have to have a multifactorial approach as well. So you look at nutrition, your diet. Do you need specific nutrients for certain skin conditions? So, you have to look at what you're trying to achieve. So if someone has acne or psoriasis or eczema, they would be looking at nutrition from different perspectives. So diet is a really, really important factor. And I always say to my clients, it's best to start off with diet, because that's in your hands and that's what you can change, and that's in your control. Then you have lifestyle factors such as exercise, sleep, and even stress. Like stress plays a really important role in skin, and that's very overlooked, in fact, because sometimes people think that when their skin's not looking and feeling so great, or they're suffering from a condition, they'll maybe run to the doctor, get antibiotics, or go to a dermatologist, which is very important as well. But then they're overlooking that actually it can really start with your diet, your lifestyle. So perhaps you're not sleeping enough, exercising. Mindfulness is a really important aspect of skincare as well, to just help reduce that sort of stress levels that constantly build up on a daily basis. Because I just feel like now, modern lifestyle is such that you're in a chronic state of sort of, it's sort of hyperactivity. So what happens is sometimes that there's that sort of inflammation, which is constant, even if it's a little bit, which can play havoc with your skin. And so, even exercise, that's really important for blood circulation, to deliver oxygen and nutrients to the skin. It promotes collagen production, and the sweat glands actually live in the dermis, actually help to clear out toxins. So it's really important. And then, thinking of supplements, someone might have a specific certain skin condition that they need to address, and then they would take certain supplements for those. And I always say that, supplements are exactly what their name suggests. It's to supplement the diet. I wouldn't ever say to someone, you have terrible skin, or, you need help with your skin, and please go and have XYZ supplement. I think you really fix those conditions through the diet first, and then move on to supplements. And skincare, of course, which addresses, it's the result of what's happening internally that starts to show the fine lines, wrinkles, pigmentation, or any skin conditions that you have. So it's very multifactorial.
So you're saying food, exercise, mindfulness,
very important.
Are all very important, of course, besides just putting on whatever outside. And you're also saying stress, where a lot of us live in the fight or flight mode, can have a negative effect on the skin.
Absolutely. And I think that's something that we're not really aware of, because it's, we're in that state all the time and always running from one activity to another. But I think if we slow down, that's when you increase self-awareness. And that's where you can actually start to notice not just your skin improving, but other health conditions as well. So that's really important.
Wonderful. Now tell me, what foods would you recommend for great skin? What should we eat for glowing skin?
Yeah. So, skin health is really dependent on the nutrients that it receives from the blood vessels in the dermis. So, you have your epidermis, your dermis, and then you have your hypodermis. So really those blood vessels are very important. So, we need to constantly be feeding, nourishing ourselves. Sorry, I've got a bit of a sore throat. We need to be nourishing ourselves with whole foods, which I think are really important. So whole foods, having a natural diet that's not processed, that isn't high in sugars, that we can make ourselves, that's easily accessible. When I say easily accessible, I don't mean processed foods that you can just sort of open from a packet and eat. Freshly prepared foods that you can make very easily, keeping it simple with the natural ingredients. And what's really important is complex, like fiber in the complex carbohydrates, because that really helps to eliminate toxins from your body and decrease inflammation. And gut health is really, really important, because the microbes in our digestive system produce B vitamins, which is essential for skin health. So it's really important to have complex carbohydrates like, whole grains, fruits, whole fruits, vegetables, having them sort of, you know, if you can have raw vegetables. So really having that variety of whole grains. And then protein is really important as well. So, you know, you need your amino acids to, you know, which help to bring, which help nourish collagen and elastin, and they're the building blocks really of skin.
Okay.
So there are certain amino acids that are specific for certain skin conditions. But, you know, if you're trying to have a complete protein, for example, you know, those tend to be more animal proteins, sort of like chicken, fish, meat. And if you're vegetarian or vegan, then you would sort of combine your plant proteins. So perhaps you would combine, you know, whole grain brown rice with beans and lentils, legumes, and sort of mix it in that way. So there's lots of ways of getting a complete protein, even from a vegetarian and a vegan diet. So that's really important, to have good quality protein. And then healthy fats as well, because they support collagen production. So, you know, where proteins are the building blocks, healthy fats actually help to with a healthy cell membrane. So that's really important to give sort of skin its structure and to keep it healthy. So, you know, you need that for the epidermal sort of oil barrier on your skin. So it's essential fats really are essential to the body. You obtain them from the diet, and that's in oily fish such as mackerel, herring, tuna, salmon. And for vegans and vegetarians, then you have essential fatty acids from nuts, seeds. There's lots of ways, chia seeds. So, you know, it's all available from whole foods. You don't need to sort of be running to a supplement or, you know, and I would say that processed foods have the complete opposite effect, because, you know, they clog up the digestive system. You can't absorb the nutrients as well. They disrupt that, you know, that sort of the microbiota in the digestive system. And, you know, that can sort of have the opposite effect. Yeah.
Okay. And so basically, you're saying healthy fats, proteins, carbs, especially complex carbs, make sure you eat fiber, right? For good skin. You know, when people get acne,
yes.
So what I find is a lot of teenagers come with questions saying we have acne, but we have dry skin. So, I mean, what do you recommend for skin with acne, basically?
So, you know, there's lots of reasons for that. And, you know, until you see someone's skin, it's hard to tell. And it could be that because, you know, they have the acne, they're using very harsh products. So they're sort of stripping their skin of natural oils. And, you know, again, that's sort of leading to this vicious cycle of producing too much sebum, because, you know, the skin is trying to protect that sort of outer layer, that acid mantle and the epidermis. So I think until you really see someone, again, it would be focusing on whole foods. It could be hormonal reasons, many different reasons, depending on why they have that to begin with. Yeah.
Okay. And what external skincare do you normally recommend that one combines with all the foods that you're recommending for different skin conditions?
External skincare. So I think using sun protection is really, really important, because 80% of our skin is damaged at a very sort of young age, you know, by your 20s, you know, 25. And
wow, that's
yes,
interesting.
And it's really, yeah, because UVAs can penetrate very deeply into that second layer, the dermis, and, you know, the UV rays can cause very long-term damage. So, you know, it can lead to lines, wrinkles, you know, results in your skin feeling really leathery. So it does a lot of, and it can penetrate sort of the clouds, glass. So people don't realize actually that although they feel, okay, it's winter, it's dark day, I think sometimes we should think of it as day protection rather than sun protection. So it's daytime, you put on your sun protection, and, you know, then you have UVB rays that are sort of, you know, they damage that surface layer of the skin. So you have this double process. So I think it's really important to use sun protection on a daily basis. And I think the higher you go with your sun protection, not necessarily better, but that helps with the UVB. So, you know, as long as you're applying it every 2 to 3 hours and you're mindful of not skipping that, I mean, I think that's actually one of the most important skincare sort of routines that you can incorporate, using sun protection daily and a good quality sun protection.
Okay. In fact, I was talking to somebody who on skincare as well, and she said first thing she does when she wakes up in the morning is, even if she's staying inside, is put sun protection, because the sun can even come in through a window.
Yes,
So,
absolutely.
so I thought that was really interesting. I'd never thought of skincare, you know, as even if you're indoors, you need sun protection.
Yeah, that's why I said don't think of it as sun protection, it's just day protection. So if you think of it like that, daytime, you know, you would definitely use that sun protection. And I would say even try and stay out of the sun between 10 to 2. You know, we do need to synthesize vitamin D, which is really also very important in skin health. And, you know, but you don't need to be going into the sun at sort of very peak sun hours. You can do that sort of 10 o'clock in the morning. Afternoon sun is great as well.
So give us your view on retinol. And are there people who should not use it?
So I love retinol actually, because I think it really helps with aging skin, acne, people who have got sort of uneven skin tone. But what I think is it's very important to be mindful of the type of retinol that you're using, because there's so many over-the-counter products. I recently had a client that had bought retinol off the internet, which I thought was a really big no-no. I think you have to get it from, you know, a reputable pharmacy, perhaps even prescription retinol. In terms of who shouldn't use retinol, I think everyone can use retinol to a small, you know, in small quantities, a small percentage. I think people who have, you know, open wounds, of course, you shouldn't. And that, I think you can always consult with a dermatologist, or, you know, if you feel that in special cases you might not be able to, but I think retinol is quite safe for most people, especially over the counter, you know, if they're over the age of 30, for example. And then if you need sort of a stronger prescription, then you would go to your doctor, I think. Yeah.
And the other thing about retinol, would you only use it at night?
Definitely only at night. And I would also suggest, again, sort of increasing the sun protection then for that. And I think if you're going to take retinol, what's really important also is to not just, again, that's something that you're doing externally, perhaps combining that with a diet that's high in sort of vitamin A and, you know, foods that actually turn into retinol in the body. So you have that inside out approach. So foods, you know, fruits and vegetables that are yellow and orange in color, like papayas, mangoes, or also, you know, the yellow and orange spectrum, orange bell peppers. So that really helps as well. So if you know that, you know, you perhaps need retinol, or you're going through that program of trying to improve your skin cell turnover, then having that combined diet, a diet high in vitamin A and, you know, natural beta carotene is also very important.
So Monisha, I need to clarify one thing. You said only use you confirmed that we should only use retinol at night, but you also said
that's
increase.
my opinion, yes.
Oh, okay. Because you also said increase your sun protection, but we don't need sun protection at night, do we?
No, so I think that if you're so we should be using sun protection anyway. But I think that if you're taking retinol, because it makes the skin more sensitive and easy to burn, I think you really have to be mindful. So don't go through a course of using retinol if you're about to go on holiday. That's what I mean, like, and you're going to be in the sun. Do it at a time when you know you're not going to be out in the sun for a few weeks, perhaps in the winter, but just be really mindful of adding that extra sort of few layers of sun protection every 2 to 3 hours. More than the quantity, it's you know, it's how often you're doing it actually. So every 2 to 3 hours is ideal.
So you're saying even if you used retinol at night, your skin is still sensitive during the day. Absolutely. As a result of that?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Thank you for that. That was very useful information. Yeah. So tell me, what is an absolute essential, you would say, when it comes to the skin?
So I think hydration is, something that's very overlooked. We will try to drink a lot of water. We know the importance, but that's actually really key for good skin health, because it helps to improve, blood flow to the skin. And sometimes, we all like to have a little bit of warm water in the evenings, and actually that has a great effect on the skin, because it helps the veins to expand, and the blood flow can really get to the skin. So that's hydration is very, very important. And also, I think, there was a recent study actually as well that showed that people who drink water and people who don't have so much water on a daily basis, their microbiota levels are different in the digestive system. And this is fairly new evidence. It's quite interesting, because we always think about water as hydrating and clearing out toxins, but it does actually affect that microbiota balance in the digestive system as well. And I think sleep is really important. So, both deep and REM sleep are very important for collagen production. It helps with cell and tissue repair. And I think just, you feel more relaxed, you're rested, and that helps to reduce your stress. Because as I mentioned before, stress is a really, really big factor. It can affect you through the gut-brain, the gut-skin axis, the brain-skin axis. So people don't understand sometimes that actually, as important as diet is and skincare is, being sort of calm and, mindful and dealing with your stress. We all have stress, but learning how to sort of deal with that, and perhaps learning a few quick techniques would really help.
Monisha,
I actually have a technique that I can
fantastic
mention.
But before you go on to your technique, I just need you to explain what microbiota was to people listening in.
So that's we all have bacteria. So this is the bacteria in our digestive system, and we have good bacteria and we have bad bacteria. And the good bacteria is nourished, so to speak, by a good diet. So having that good variety of, I always tell my clients, eat a rainbow of fruits and vegetables, because having that balance and that variety of fruits and vegetables, different colors have different nutrients, and that really feeds the good bacteria in your digestive system. And when you have processed foods, lots of sugar, and that can actually it can encourage bad bacteria to grow. So you won't, you'll be having digestive symptoms, and you're bloating, you will be feeling unwell. So that actually affects your skin in turn again. So it's important to get that sort of, to constantly feed and nourish your good bacteria.
Thank you for that. Now please tell us the technique. I'm sure lots of people want to hear it.
So it's actually a very simple technique, and you can do this at any age, and it's just about sort of having that deep exhalation for about 4 seconds, and you sort of breathe in very deeply, you hold your breath for 2 seconds, and then you exhale for 6 seconds. So this is a very, very calming exercise. It works really very quickly.
So you breathe in for how many seconds?
You breathe in for 4 seconds.
4, okay.
And then you hold your breath for 2 seconds. And then you exhale for 6 seconds.
Okay. So the exhalation adds up to the breathing in.
The exhalation is longer. And that can really help with children, adults. You can be doing this anywhere. You're walking, you're sitting, just anytime you're feeling a little bit of anxiety or you want to relax yourself. And this is a technique that actually helps you, you're really creating a lot of self-awareness at that point, because you're taking time just to notice how you're breathing, and you'll actually feel that you're sort of feeling a little bit more relaxed. So, if you do this a couple of times every day, I think that can make a really, really big difference.
And it'll show up on the skin, right?
Absolutely. And I think, the minute you just feel more relaxed, you look more relaxed, you're smiling, that's releasing sort of endorphins, serotonin in the body, and that affects the skin as well. So, it's all, like I said, it's multifactorial approach to just dealing with skin.
Yes, absolutely. Now, tell me, Monisha, is there anything which you would say is an absolute no-no? So something you say, don't ever, ever do this. This is so bad for the skin.
So I think a big no-no is sugar.
Oh, I was worried you'd say that.
Yeah. Sugar, refined carbohydrates, and foods that have been barbecued, heated to very high temperatures, because what happens is these foods, sugar especially, produces something called AGEs. And what that does actually, that disrupts, that sort of attaches to collagen, elastin, it damages it, it destroys it, it breaks the collagen down. And that can be very disrupting. And I think that's the biggest anti-aging food, actually. Sugar, refined carbohydrates,
You mean
processed
aging
foods.
food? That's the biggest aging food.
Yes,
Yes.
sugars, yeah. Sugars.
Okay.
So definitely, I would say avoid that.
Oh gosh.
That
Okay.
leads to advanced glycation end products. So it's, even the abbreviation, if you want to remember it, age. So I just think
Oh
that
wow. Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
so it's just sugar is just a big no-no. Barbecued foods, blackened foods, just I think avoid those. And processed as well, because processed foods have a lot of ingredients that are sort of chemical preservatives. They disrupt, again, the gut microbiota. They're not nutritious and very hard to digest. So what we're looking to do is nourish the body with whole foods, nutrients that are easily assimilated into the body. But even again, I mean, even with, the advanced glycation end products, there's also a genetic test that, the genetic test can actually see if you have, there's a gene called GLO1, GLO1, and it can actually see if you have the capacity to clear out those glycation end, the AGEs from your skin. So that actually helps as well to know that. So like I said, skincare has become really advanced in many ways. It's not just about products that you can use or aesthetics. There's lots there on the market that if you really look into, you can improve your skin health in a very natural way.
Okay. Any advice for people listening in?
So I think whatever you do, like I just mentioned, and I want to really emphasize on that, is start slowly and not to be too hard on yourself. And I think focus on the weakest link to sort of improving your skin health. So for example, if you know that you eat well, you use good skincare, but you don't exercise and perhaps you're not sleeping well, then focus on the sleep and the exercise. I think start off with that, sort of baby steps. Each and everything that you do will have a positive impact. And like I said, it's a multifactorial approach. So just looking at it from a holistic perspective rather than, oh, it's just skincare, it's just diet. It's really everything together. But I would say it starts off with diet. It starts off with what you're putting inside your body and then, what you're applying to your skin.
Okay. Wonderful. So someone has said, can you give us 5 pointers for drinking or eating healthy on a daily basis?
So I think keeping a food diary is a brilliant way to start. And I refuse clients who don't fill in a food diary because I can't monitor what they're eating and they can't really make the necessary changes either. And they're not sort of being mindful and aware of what they're eating. So I would say, start, because, you may have something during the day, and this happens to me all the time. And, I'm used to this. This is my business, but, I forget, I've had something that perhaps in excess, or I just forgot. And I think what happens is when you're noting things down, you actually pick up on habits that you didn't realize that you had. So you might be having a bar of chocolate every day after dinner, not realizing that actually that bar of chocolate amounts to quite a lot of sugar by the end of the month. So then you can start to cut down on that. So this is really it's for you, really. It's to highlight to you where you need to work on. And then with that food diary, perhaps, making sort of links to perhaps if you haven't slept well, or if you've eaten something and you've broken out into a rash, or, you know, making those links. I think that's a good place to start, because you can make those links then.
Okay. Thank you for being on this chat today. And thank you, everyone. That was Monisha Mahtani, who is a nutritionist. And this is Anshu Bahanda at Wellness Curated. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.